So welcome back. This is part 2. Last time we talked about the SMART goals, those specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound goals that you're going to set for yourself in order to set yourself up for success for the following year. So by now you're probably at least have an idea of what races or goals you have for the following year. Now we're going to talk about, okay, we're done, they're on the calendar. Now, where do we start in order to start our journey for success for that year? First things first, pen to paper. So take those registrations or ideas you have of when things are opening up to sign up for, put those in a calendar. For myself and any of the athletes that I help I simply have a sheet that I print out. It just has 12 boxes on it, one for every month. And those are our goals. We have it all written out on one piece of paper. It lets us know the dates, where we are, what type of races, what kind of distances. It's all there. It's all on one piece of paper. And that allows us to work backwards on figuring out where's our starting point, when's starting too soon, how are we going to get there. But first things first, not if you put pen to paper, you're going to need to visualize these goals. For myself, I'm a very visual person. I express that to other people. There's a few athletes I know that use the same method that I have. Every year for the past few years, I'll set up a vision board for where I want to be next year, what goals I have. And the key with that is it has to be in a place where you're going to see it, where you're going to basically pass it daily. You're going to live it. So this is what I had for 2021. I break it down right in the middle on January through December on things I want to accomplish every month. And some months are just empty. They're supporting the following month's goals if it's a big race coming up. And then I find something, whether it's the logo of the race or something that's going to remind you of what you're going to accomplish, and just print some pictures out. Create that vision board of what you want. The main reason why a lot of people fail on their goals is they kind of just throw it in their head like a New Year's resolution. Oh, I want to do this, or I want to be X, Y, and Z. But there's no visualization after that. You kind of forget about it. But if this is something you pass by every day that you're working on, you're going to remember. It's going to keep you hungry. It's going to keep you motivated, and it's going to set you up for success. So now that you've had it, you've made those SMART goals. You've now put them pen to paper. You've now visualized those goals. So there we go. If I was going into this year right now, that's what I want to accomplish. And a year ago, it was pretty daunting to look at that vision board. I mean, it got me excited, but a little nervous on, wow, is this more? Did I bite off more than I can chew? So now we have to learn, how am I going to get there? So this is the point where you need to decide with yourself. Are you doing this alone? Are you hiring a coach? Are you part of a group that can support you along the way? Who's going to help you get there? Now, regardless of your answer to that one, you have to be able to organize your training, your blocks, how you're getting there from point A to point B. A board like this on this side, which you may have seen in some of my past videos during my Ironman training, is basically the key to every day's session and every day's little piece to the puzzle that we're going to use in order to get there. On a board like this, we're talking about, I'll have my zone set up, my last 5K heart rate test set up, my zones for the bike for my last FTP test. And then I'll make my training zones off of that. 1 through 5 heart rate zones, 1 through 5 on power zones for the bike. So when I have to do workouts, I can simply reference everything right here for the week and understand where I need to be. Now, when do I start though? When do I start my plan? Am I starting too soon? So once you have your first race up on the calendar, you need to work backwards from it. Work backwards from your soonest race to say, for instance, if you have a half Ironman in June of next year coming up, and you're going to have a 16-week plan that you're going to start, you need to plug backwards from that race date to the beginning date. Now that's probably going to take you somewhere into February, which is right around the door. You're almost talking like 2 months away that you have to start this 16-week plan in order to prep for your first race. But here's the key. You don't want to jump into it too soon because you feel like that 16 weeks is not enough to prepare. What I've learned is you have to trust your plan if you're able to execute it properly, and you just need to trust the process. If that was myself and I were to start a plan in February for a June race, I would know that I have about 2 months right now to just enjoy life, keep a consistent base with my swimming, biking, and running. Maybe focus on some strength training because you may not have as much time to dedicate to that during your plan. And also have fun. Do you like to snowboard in the wintertime? Is there other sports, hiking, snowshoeing? Is it some things that you like to do that you're able to do now physically that you may not have the time for down the road? But also planning this backwards like that and knowing that February could be a starting point for your blocks of training that you need to accomplish. You also want to know where that start point is. So we all know time goes by quick. We have the holidays coming up, the New Year's coming up. Next thing you know, you're into February or March, spring's coming, and then you realize, oh, I have that race in June. I only have 12 weeks left till that race. I should really start getting ahead on this plan and figuring out where I need to be. You don't want to be late to the party, because if you miss that progression in your training and you jump in too soon, it's kind of a recipe for disaster if you didn't have that base and then you start with that progressive training load to race day. So now, once you've realized, okay, February, I need to start my plan, what am I going to do from now until I start that plan? This board over here has helped me a lot when I'm in that plan. It also can help you plan your off season by having some goals throughout the week, whether you want to do a yoga session, a strength session, you want to get on the bike for an hour, go out for a few mile run. Is using a board like this will have where I need to be with my metrics for heart rate, power. I'm also gonna, like right now I have a strength program I'm doing by daily up there. It just allows me to reference it real quick. But what I have is a printed out version of whatever training plan I'm gonna be working with. I'll put it on the board. And then every week on that Sunday, because my week start on Monday, is I'm gonna map out Monday through Sunday what my exact workouts are, when I plan to accomplish them, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the evening. And that also allows great communication with, say, your family. If you just have a place where for the week you have everything out and they know what you're going to be doing around your work schedule, whether it's the morning or the afternoon, they can reference it too. You can keep that open communication. They can see, oh, I see you have to do a 2-hour bike ride Saturday early morning, and you don't even have to talk about it. You don't have that, oh, I forgot you have to, get out there and get the training in. It's up there. It's a two-way communication system also, and just allows everyone else in your life to know exactly what you need to do. But more importantly, day by day, it just breaks that what seems like a daunting training plan, especially if you're a first timer at a certain distance, into actually just, like I've always said, live in today, live in the moment. When you're done with the week, you erase it and put the next week. You can always learn from your past weeks and build on those. You also don't want to look too far in the future. I remember looking at my Ironman plan when I first had it last year and looking at some of those big weeks of a 6-hour, 7-hour training day on a Saturday with a very long bike and a run afterwards, and then another very long run on Sunday, just seemed like so overwhelming at the time. But the fact that I was able to break it down week by week to day by day and just focus on that workout, don't worry about next week's workouts until they get there or that day until that day gets there, it's just gonna make the whole process so much more enjoyable, so much more fun. Like I said in the last video, the year, as much work as it was fun. And I think that's kind of how I was able to keep it that way. I didn't have to worry or stress that at the end of this 3-week training cycle, I had to bike 80 miles or 100 miles. It was, what's today's workout? Today is a hour interval bike ride. Let's just worry about fitting that in the schedule today, getting it done, and basically enjoying that workout as well. Because if you're not having fun doing this, it's just gonna stress you out even more than the stress that we all already have in our lives right now. So there you have it. Part 1 was just setting up your year, picking those goals, not overwhelming it, making those smart decisions for next year. And now here we are, you've had those decisions, you know what you want to do, and how are you going to create that roadmap to get there, and how and when are you going to start? And then once you lay it all out, it's just simple. Break it down even smaller. Break it down to when you need to start by. Break it down to how you can prepare for that start date. Break it down to that week, and then break it down to that day, and then just worry about that workout. Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't have to make any of this more complicated than it has to be. And before you know it, you're going to be looking back on the year. And then the best part about it is you can look at that vision board before you take it down and make next year's. And that's when, if you had a bad race, you learn from it. Write down some things for next year that you want to make sure you hit. Was your bike a little more of a struggle than you thought it would be? Write that down so we can concentrate on creating that better bike training for next year, or more consistent if you didn't hit all your workouts. Or if you can look back and say, wow, I remember a year ago putting all that up there, not knowing if it was possible or not, and now looking at it and realizing what you actually accomplished. And that's going to motivate you for the following year on how to set everything up and just crush your goals for next year. I hope you enjoyed this little part 2 video that I had. Maybe next time we'll go into a video on, how to pick a certain training plan and how I created the training plan and took a little bit from each of the things that I learned on how to fit it in with a busy life, with having a full-time job, having kids, having a wife that works, having to get these kids to school and off from school, and just fitting all that in, but still having that balance. And that's why the motto here is just balancing life 1 mile at a time. Because throughout all the miles you're gonna accumulate and accomplish throughout the year, you really do need to find that balance. And there's some people out there, on YouTube you look that are like, there is no such thing as balance. You just have to hit it hard and crush it every day. Well, in some people's worlds, they don't have that type of responsibility where you have to create that balance. You don't want to exile your family because you want to, crush certain goals in your life. It is about balance, and at least it is for us. For the majority of the people that I know that follow along here, or the ones I train with, it is about finding that perfect balance. And when you're able to find it, it just becomes routine. You're able to get it done, you're able to schedule things, and you're able to stay consistent and disciplined. Hope you enjoyed the video here. We'll get into it a little more next time on how I was able to accomplish all of this amongst that busy life throughout the year. If you got anything out of this, down below, give this video a thumbs up, a like, comment below. Again, let me know what you got going on next year and how you accomplish your goals and keep things balanced in life. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel because there's a bunch of things coming up. We're 1 week away from our shore to shore. We're running across Long Island from the North Shore to the South Shore, fundraising for Team Blue Line, a 501c3 nonprofit that helps officers and their families hurt or killed in the line of duty. And they are doing some amazing things this year with that money, and I seriously appreciate every one of you who have donated this year. So until next time, remember, stay safe, stay healthy. Don't forget, please balance that life 1 mile at a time, and we'll see you on the next one.